there's this globe, and you can see all the little lights going out on this globe. And it reminded me of COVID and how it swept the earth, but there were still a couple little lights left. And like yourself, you're a light. And you're like, no, 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 we're going to share this light. And next thing you know, you're lifting someone else up, and they're lifting someone else up, and they're lifting someone else up. And pretty soon the earth's lights are all coming back on. And I feel like the last 2 years has been this beautiful unfolding of getting to meet all of these incredible humans like yourself, who are these lights that help open people up. And that's what my belief, my journey is that we get to open people up. We get to help turn the light on. And then they go, oh, I'm a light.
So very welcome to this channel, to this talk today. I have a wonderful woman from Canada, and I'm so excited that you're here. I want to introduce to everybody Jessica Bouchard. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much. I am fantastic.
That's so great, Jessica, that we met and that we had a little conversation up front already. And I have a surprise for you.
Oh.
I'm going to start with something. I'm going to read something that you should know. And this is, and I invite everybody exactly to these words. I welcome wealth, peace, and abundance into my life by consciously creating space for thoughts of joy and prosperity. These are your words, Jessica. I found it on your website. Thank you so much for this sentence.
I love it.
Jessica, you are doing crystal healing, you are doing a special way of tea. And before we go into it, would you like to share with us what was your way, your pathway to that what you are offering today?
Hey, well, I grew up in an environment that wasn't necessarily a beautiful, fancy environment. We grew up very poor, and there was a lot of heartache, a lot of brokenness. And so my heart was always searching, but I was so happy. Like, my mother was filled with love, and she taught us how to love and how to love everyone. So I was really blessed in my life to know what love was. So we may not have had a dime or food to put on the table, but we were happy and we knew what love was. So I was very, very blessed. And we went through a lot of hardship, but as I grew up, as I got older, I found I was always helping people. So people that needed a coat, I would ask my mom, can I give them my coat? I can get another one, right? And I mean, they were secondhand, whatever. But to me, that was a coat. But this person was cold, and they had no shoes or holes in their shoes. And I knew that I would always be taken care of. So I would always give to those who needed them. And if someone was sad or downhearted, I would find a way to lift them up. That was just naturally who I was. In church, my mother would take me to church, and I would pray over people, and everyone would say, oh, she's got healing hands, she can heal. So these are all things that I grew up just being naturally who I am. And when I was 16, I went to a crystal store, a metaphysical store, and was drawn to crystals, the rocks in the store, and I couldn't stay away from them. I'd go into every single metaphysical store just to be near the rocks and read the books. and I would sit in the corner. I didn't have money for the things. I might buy a little stone here or there, and I would sit in the corner and they would let me read their books. And I just felt like that was home to me. So there was a lot of different aspects throughout my life that brought who I am today together. And as long as I have lived, I have wanted to help people raise their frequency, raise their vibration. But to me, it was just make people feel better. I wanted people to feel happier, to not feel lonely or sad. Or so I would find ways to befriend all of the broken people. And those were the people that I would watch them become something more or brighter, happier, and then I was fulfilled. So I had dreams. I was 16. I wanted to open a coffee shop. I wanted it to have crystals and books and everyone's artwork, because I wanted all of my friends who were super talented to participate. And but I didn't know how to make that happen. So fast forward, through the years, I've had coaches, and I've been part of different clubs and whatnot that have helped encourage me. And I joined a club a couple years ago, and they have a system in place. And they said, if you want to do this, you have to do this. And so I wasn't all over the place trying to figure it out anymore. And so it helped me to take all of the things that I love doing. So working with crystals, which I have a friend in Vancouver who said, if you love crystals, do something with crystals. She said, what do you love? I said, wine and crystals. Okay, so do something with crystals. People like crystals. And that's how that kind of started. But I got focused, and I realized that it's my job. I have had an entire lifetime of pain and ups and downs and of my own that has made me stronger. It has helped me to be that phoenix that has gone through hell and risen up from the ashes. And now I have this light that and strength that is there, that people are drawn to. And now I get to share with them how to turn their own light on, how to open up, how to connect, how to experience love for themselves and for others, and how to accept love. Because especially now after COVID, people are broken. They're disconnected, and they're searching for something. And this gives me the opportunity to be able to help people see their own light and to shine bright. Because it's not me that does it. They do it. I just get to help be that instrument to get them there.
That's so wonderful, so amazing, Jessica. Thank you so much for telling us, because it's not easy always when you're young and 16 years old and getting connected to wonderful crystals. Everybody is thinking you are insane or crazy. How was it?
It was a secret. I never told people. Especially being a Christian, I grew up as a Christian, and New Age was from the devil. And so crystals were a part of that New Age stuff. So I never told anyone. It was, a couple of my friends would know, and I would have them, oh, look, I got this rock, is what I would say to my mom, because I didn't want her to know. And so I just kept it to myself, and I never told anyone. I had abilities where I knew things before they would happen. I never told anyone. I'd be like, oh, I just thought that. And they're like, yeah, right, you did. They wouldn't realize that I had a gift, because I didn't know I had a gift. But there was all these different aspects that I just stuffed down and hid, because it wasn't accepted. People didn't believe in the 5D, the crystals, the energy. They didn't, everything was 3D. And, you believe in God and you have faith, but there isn't anything more.
Yeah, and you are dependent on God's will and not your own will to raise your energy and to to move your life in the way you want to. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to say victim, but what is the word I'm looking for? It's like you're not in control, that you have no control over your life, and that you are just a victim of circumstance. And that's is not the reality. We get to choose it, we get to create it. And I spent my whole life thinking that I couldn't do anything about it. And now I know different.
Yeah, this is a way to control the people. This is a way to control humanity. So that you always need to have somebody who gives you the allowance to do something. And I'm glad for you that you break the shell and that you discovered and experienced by yourself another reality. So did it happen before COVID or because of COVID that you opened up and said, I'm doing this, or are you doing it longer already, officially?
In my 30s, I guess, is when I started to become brave. In 2019, actually, to be specific, is actually came out and was okay with sharing. So it's a little bit older. I was in a challenge. It was called the Total Makeover Challenge. And I had put on weight. I actually had gone to Bali and met with Rhonda and did this entrepreneurial thing. And when I was there, they did a photo shoot. And I hadn't realized how much weight I had gained. And they did these pictures and I was horrified. So I went home and I did this Total Makeover Challenge, which was all about mind and body and changing your thinking so that your body could become healthier, because it always stems from the inside, right? When I did this, there was a weekend seminar that these women did, and they had said, what's holding you back, basically. And I mean, there was a lot more to it, but I realized it was my belief that Christians would condemn me. It was the silliest thing, because all of the people I was afraid of condemning me were not even a part of my life. They were not in it. And did I actually care what they thought? Like, if I really thought about it, and I actually ran into one of them recently, and I felt that in my stomach, and I'm like, it's okay. It's okay if she doesn't love me because I choose to be different. So I kind of broke through that. And then I had a friend, Janika, that was my coach. And she said, what do you love? What do you love to do? And I said, wine and crystals. And I was joking. And she says, well, no, let's not joke about this. Crystals are really big. People need them. People love them and they want to learn more. I said, well, I'm not an expert. She's like, do you know what this is? Do you know what it does to some of the crystals in a room? I said, yeah, sure. And this one has a great vibration, by the way, like I could feel that. And she's like, you need to do something with crystals. And I said, well, what? Like, I was clueless. This is 3 months after the Bali trip, and I'm still searching for this perfect business. And all these synchronicities happened. And one of them was a full moon chanting circle. And she said, if you want to bring your crystals, bring your crystals. Oh, I wish I'd known. I would have brought some. I never thought about it. She's like, well, I have some for sale, but don't ask me about them. I don't know anything about crystals. And I found some black tourmaline, and she's like, oh, what's that for? And I said, it's for grounding. It, wards off negativity. It'll absorb it if it comes near you. And, I gave her some details, and she said, wow, everyone else came up and they all bought black tourmaline. And I went, oh my gosh, I did that. Not me, but the knowledge that I had made a difference. And then that's when it was the first sign. And several signs came up after that. And that same woman met with me for coffee a couple months later and said that she had some space available in her store and she needed to find someone. And I went, pick me. And crystal therapy was born. So I sold crystals out of her store. I started doing meditations, and I do crystal meditations. So people would have a crystal, and then I would meditate. I'd walk them through a meditation, connecting them with the energy of that crystal. And then I would do crystal classes where I would do a full hour of teaching them about that crystal and do a meditation with it. And it was so popular that my classes were sold out, and it was wonderful. And I thought, there's a difference. But it wasn't just the meditation. I was coaching these women through the sessions that we were doing. So in 2020, when I shut down because everyone shut down, I started putting myself out there online, and I had someone say, I would love to be coached by you. So I coached her for 6 weeks and watched her go from here to here. And I thought, I can do this. I can make a difference. So then I started coaching women online, and I did that for a couple of years. And then when we could start seeing people again, I did meditations again. And that's when I joined this club that I'm in. And they helped me to eradicate all the fear I had around COVID and what was going on in the world. And I gained my confidence again. And I knew what I wanted. And I thought it would take 5-10 years to get here. And within 2 years, I was able to manifest my dream of a shop, as you can see, and doing meditations again and helping women. So
this is wonderful. Congratulations. This is wonderful. So you are really a role model for all women or men either. So who wants to do their life different. So it's always a matter what you really feel within your heart, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah. And yeah, to go there without fear, fearless living is wonderful. Yeah. And you know, you created it as well. It was a part of your soul, which is still within you, who guided you to Bali, and there is something happening, and you see a picture of yourself, and you say, I have to change. So this is perfect, but it was your choosing from the very beginning.
I knew that I wanted more out of life.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I was meant for more. I knew that I didn't go through hell to just die. I needed to not just exist. I knew there was something, a purpose in my life. I've always known that. So anytime something would come up, I would follow that in hopes that it would take me there. And I don't know if you've heard of Kevin Trudeau, but he is the founder of the club that I'm in. And without him choosing to put out his information that he's put out in the way that he's put it out, I wouldn't have a voice right now. I would have never followed that. But I learned what the difference was between confidence and having confidence and creating it within myself. So I was never confident. I didn't know how to know that what I had needed to be heard, but I knew that it needed to be heard, but I didn't know how to put it out there. And so in that learning, I've expanded so much, and I've met people like Erlene Vining, who said, you should open a tea shop. And I went, I've always wanted to do that. So then do it. And that was it. It was like, oh, I needed permission, but I didn't need permission. I just needed to know that I could. And that fear kind of has been eradicated based on knowing that there are people out there that are not against you. So much in the world, people are happy for you unless you're doing better than they are. Then they're not happy for you anymore. But there's so many people like yourself that are out there to help raise people up, to help them expand, help them do better. And because of the work that you're doing, you're helping to share that light. And it's like, I don't know there's like kids movie, Galaxy something or other, and it's about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and all these magical, mythical creatures. And there's this shadow light that tries to come in and take out the light. And there's this globe, and you can see all the little lights going out on this globe. And it reminded me of COVID and how it swept the earth, but there were still a couple little lights left. And like yourself, you're a light. And you're like, no, we're going to share this light. And next thing you know, you're lifting someone else up, and they're lifting someone else up, and they're lifting someone else up. And pretty soon the earth's lights are all coming back on. And I feel like the last 2 years has been this beautiful unfolding of getting to meet all of these incredible humans like yourself, who are these lights that help open people up. And that's what my belief, my journey is that we get to open people up. We get to help turn the light on. And then they go, oh, I'm a light. Yes. And now you can shine. And so they get to be walking around lit up and excited about life and finding joy in the little things instead of going, consumer, I need this, I have to have this is going to make me feel better. No, it's all within. You get to be that light.
Exactly. You're shining bright. Yeah. Yes, we are here on this planet to raise the light, to do it all over the planet. And this is the good thing about the digital world we have now with Zoom and stuff like that, so that we are able to turn on the lights all over the globe. And as well, it's very important to be in connection, in person connection. So when you do the work with the crystals, do you feel, or are you aware that the person you work with raises their energy, or what happens within them? Are you conscious about that?
So when I work with people, it's multiple modalities at once. So I put crystals in all my products. I put energy and intention into each crystal, and then I put them into my tea and into my products. And so that's part of it. I'll make them a cup of tea that's been injected with intention, as I say. And I'll sit there and I energetically connect to them. But I use words, language, the crystal that I've given them or that they have. For example, in a meditation, I take the crystals, I put intention into them, and then I share that intention with the group, and everyone takes that crystal and they focus on that intention. So we'll do the meditation, and during that meditation, there's a lot of energetic work that's happening. People are very open, and so they go through their own journey, their own process while we're going through the meditation. And then afterwards, I open the floor for us to share as a group, our cognitions, our experiences, any questions may come up that during that session. And what I find is I can see from the moment they walk in, this dull, looking for, tired, something. And then as the night goes through, they're lit up, they're energized, they're excited, they're giddy, they're chatty. So you can physically see and you can hear it, you can experience it energetically. You can tell that when people come in, they're so different than when they leave. And when I offer that service, people go, oh, wow, it costs that much for a meditation. And they're like, yeah, okay, well, I'll try it. And then they do it and they're like, that was the best meditation I've ever had. Oh my gosh, I feel so good. Can't wait for next week. And it's really encouraging because it really takes people through a process, but it's them taking themselves through the process and they're not fully aware of that. I'm just guiding them. So I see the energy work that's being done. I see the difference. I can't say one thing that it is because I think it's a combination of everything.
Yeah, it's always a combination. Yeah, you mentioned as well when we had our little chat before recording, that you for yourself you did a deep meditation, I think with Joe Dispenza, and that afterwards something again happened and you started to produce tea. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yes. So in 2020, it was the summer of 2020, and I was going through a very difficult time, like probably 99% of the rest of the world was going through. And I knew that in order to stay grounded, I needed to do something every day that made me feel better. So I had done these YouTube videos or videos on Facebook every day. Even if I didn't feel good, I still did them because I knew that I had to push forward. And then I found some of Joe Dispenza's meditations in my YouTube file, the history. So I started listening to them, and I would do them, the small ones and small ones. And then I started doing 1 hour long meditation. And I'd been doing this for about a week, going really deep. And I felt like I was somewhere else. It was so powerful and so beautiful and so healing. And then one day I got up from the meditation. I went straight to my apothecary. I have this cupboard full of herbs, and I've had them my whole life since I was 16. I always make myself tea. But I started blending and writing and blending and writing. And it was so automatic that I knew it wasn't me. And in 2018, I had created 4 sprays. They were love, manifest, ground, and serenity. And it was earth, citrus, lavender, and floral. And lavender is floral, but lavender is very much on its own as well. And after creating these teas, I was sitting there with my 3-year-old at the time. She was 3, I believe, and maybe 4. And we're sitting there, and she's tasting them, and she's like, this is good. And I mean, she's so little. So I was like, well, if she likes them, they must be good because she's a child. And she's like, this one's my favorite, which was love, of course. It was pink. And so the next day I had this understanding that I was supposed to put crystals in them the same way I had the sprays, and that that I was going to, in the future, have an entire line. And I didn't know what it looked like. I just saw it. And that's how my teas were birthed.
Wonderful. And so you put the teas together, the herbs and everything by your own, or does somebody else produce it for you?
Not at this time. I'm still a little business. However, I'll grab a bag. Would you like to see it?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the tea.
Ah, yeah. Nice. Love.
Is a crystal somewhere inside the bag. I can open it and show you if you'd like to see. We're good. Okay. But inside is a crystal, and it's been infused. So I put the intention into the crystal, and I meditate on it. I visualize everything. For that one in particular, it's rose quartz. So I will envision everything about self-love, everything about giving love, everything about receiving love, and just being love. So radiating love. And I imagine it radiating out into the earth. And so when someone drinks that tea, whatever their intention is, it just amplifies it. And that's the purpose of the tea. So every single tea has a different crystal with a different intention. And it's really powerful energy work. And people are drawn to it, and they love it.
Wow. No, this is my rose quartz heart.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah. You as well.
Pardon?
A big rock of it behind you as well.
Yeah, we have many rocks. Yeah. So this is very special. And you just mentioned your previous 3 or 4 year old daughter. Now she's 7, and she seems to be a wonderful child. And you said you do homeschooling with her. I think that many people are curious. So why did you choose this, and how it's working?
I had decided when I was homeschooled myself. I was actually in grade 8, and my mom homeschooled me. And I had the most education. I learned the most, I retained the most, and it was quite magical. When I went to high school, it became about the social life and the people, but also the teachers they were hard. You know, I remember being in math class, and he's like, figure it out. And I failed math every single year because no one could teach me because of the way my mind worked. I was very creative, and I needed to be taught in visual, and they could only give me this one way of learning. And they were mean. They call me stupid because I couldn't learn a certain way. So if someone's far behind, they're not taught. If they're ahead, they're not allowed to go any further because people are behind. So they kind of focus on the average. But not only that, they indoctrinate children. They indoctrinate them with the beliefs that they want them to be slaves, in my opinion, to think a certain way, to be a certain way. Don't think outside the box. Don't be creative. Don't follow your dreams. And they don't teach you about money and about entrepreneurship and about the things that you really need to learn about. And I knew one day I'd have a child, and I was not putting him in school. Also, children are mean, and you have to just put up with it. You're pushed aside, and you're not embraced and loved on. It's, well, learn how to deal with it. Learn how to, suck it up. And I didn't want my child to learn like that. I wanted my child to be in a world of love. And as time went on, I mean, we were in 2020 and everyone's saying, are you putting her in school? I said, no, I'm homeschooling. Oh, well, that's smart. Well, no, it's not about 2020. It's not about COVID. It's about always wanting to allow my daughter a life of innocence and learning at her own speed and being able to give her everything that I don't believe she could get otherwise. She's such an incredibly, if she's upset about something, or if she hurts someone's feelings, she doesn't know how to say, I'm sorry. If she were in school, they would make her say she was sorry, or they'd put her in a corner. I say to her, how do you want to express that you feel bad about what happened? And so she'll hug them, or she'll draw a picture with them holding hands or some other way, because that's how she communicates. So it allows her to be herself without putting her in a box.
That's wonderful. Wow, so many moms can learn from you. I appreciate very much that you shared this, Jessica. It's really amazing, especially I always say the new kids, the new kids have other brains. They as well learning more differently than maybe you did before. And so they are more holographic and receiving everything. And I think she's still receiving. Do you think she's still receiving everything?
Oh, 100%. She's so connected. The other day we were talking, and I mean, it's challenging. I'm opening a store, I'm homeschooling my daughter, and I don't feel like I'm doing enough right now because there's so much going on, and there's hardships, but the difference is I'm getting over them. I'm not letting them get me over. Like, I'm not letting them take me over. But some moments are more challenging than others. And my daughter says to me, Mom, I really think you need to do some yoga. You've got a little bit too much stress right now. I was like, we haven't done yoga in 6 months, but she could see, you're not connected, you're not grounded, you need to, and there's in the club that I'm in, there's a lot of sayings that are very profound and very powerful. And one of them is like, well, Mom, what you want wants you. So focus on what you want. I'm like, okay. So she's so intuitive, and she says the right things at the right time. It helps to guide me as an adult who sometimes gets disconnected. Even though I know better, she's always connected, and she always sees through the veil that we don't always see through. And I really appreciate that.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful. So we need to have more women like you. We need to have more children. So being aware and being always connected with the divine, then we really can raise the vibration of the earth, or our energy, to become in the fifth dimension, let's say it like this, where we are heading to, so that it's become lighter and lighter for all of us. Yeah, you mentioned as well a very nice sentence on your website. You see, I have looked at, and you said here, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yes.
This is as well so wonderful, because you just said, mom, that what you want wants you. It's a similar connection.
Well, and a lot of that is about perception.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm honestly, like, I have to be reminded, I am still human. I still have many years of experience that I'm undoing. But my child is so fresh that for her, it's all, we've been programming her since she was young. So her programs are very different from mine. So she's very helpful. But our perspective, if we look at something as being a problem, then it's going to continue to be a problem. And our life will get attracted more things to give us those problems. So if I'm having a hard time and I'm like, oh, this is so challenging, I can't believe this happened and this happened, I am creating so much energy around that the universe is going to say, oh, that's the feeling you want. Okay, so here's some more stuff to give you that feeling. But when you change your perspective and you say, well, that was a bit challenging, I'm sure it'll work out for my benefit, I don't know how, but it will, then all of a sudden you start to see solutions that make you feel better, that make you laugh. Something else might happen, but you laugh at it and you change that, the way that you see it, and you put your own spin on it, a joyful spin and a joyful outlook, or like I said, laugh about it. All of a sudden it starts to change, and then you attract a different kind of circumstance into your life. So it's like the movie, What the Bleep Do We Know? She wakes up, stubs her toe, she gets grumpy, slams the alarm clock and all these things, the toothpaste goes flying, and she's miserable. And her day continues to be like that. But if you wake up and you stub your toe and you're like, oh man, that hurt, and then you keep going and you feel that joy and you're like, today's going to be a great day. Today is a great day. All of a sudden things start happening that make you smile. And the people that come into your life, they have all these amazing stories to share, or compliments to give, or smiles to share. It doesn't even matter. You just start to feel good, and you're in the present moment, and your perception is shifted. And that's the meaning behind that for me, is it's about how we look at life.
Yeah. And the universe is a vibrational universe. It's a vibrational language. And the language of joy is the best language to manifest things here in this 3D area. Yeah. Yeah. So Jessica, when somebody wants to work with you, where can this person find you?
They can go to my outdated website at crystaltherapy.ca. We'll be working on that. And the place to find me the most, though, is on Instagram, and it's crystaltherapy.ca. It's quite similar. I try to keep it the same to make it simple, but that's where I can be found on a daily basis. I'm always checking in. It's the simplest platform for me.
That's great. So what are you doing for yourself to be always in a high vibration energy?
I wake up in the morning early, about 6:30, because my daughter wakes up about 8:30, and that gives me a 2-hour window. I read a chapter of a book every morning, and right now I'm reading The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and it's spectacular. I've started reading, actually, what is his name? No, Letters of Sir Walter something or other. I can't even remember. My husband had an old book, but it's something for fun and something for personal development. And I do a meditation every morning, and I choose, actually, before I wake up, before I open my eyes, I choose what kind of day I'm going to have. So I decide, today I'm going to create this with intention. And that's how I start my day. And it right away changes I don't go, oh, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep in, or, set the alarm. I don't even set an alarm. My body wakes up at 6:30 every morning. I set an intention for the day. I get excited. Oh, what kind of miracles are going to happen? What kind of wonderful things? What kind of people will I meet? And that's how I start my day. And today it was, I get to do an interview. I'm so excited. So
yeah, this is wonderful. Yeah. You create your day in the very beginning in every morning. That's right. So, and even if you had bad dreams, which you would not have, but even if you have, you can say, okay, so what is the dream telling me and how do I change it? Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Yeah, so good to have you, Jessica. And at the very beginning, is there something special you want to join with the audience? Is there a special message you want to give them?
Yeah, so this is what I share with my clients. When they come to see me, I remind them that you're the person who changes your life. No one can change it for you. Ultimately, you make that decision. So if you want something in life, you have to go after it. And if you get clear about what it is, like very clear, crystal clear, this is what I desire. And you think about it all day long, whether it's a relationship or a new car or a new career or just to have purpose, whatever it is that you desire, focus on it with intention. Be excited about its possibility and let it go. But take little steps every single day to feeling good, feeling better than you do right now. And that's what's going to make a difference in your life.
That's
Find
great. That's great. Jessica, I have a final two questions.
your
One question is, what do you wish or what do you want for the world? And the absolute final question is, what do you want or wish for yourself?
Well, the first one's easy. Is I feel like, when the supermodels go on stage and they do that Miss America or whatever, and they say, I want world peace. But the truth is that I would love to see more and more broken people find the light within themselves so that they can shine and they can feel good and pass it on to their children and pass it on to their neighbors and their family members. I want to see people light up. I want to see people find joy in I want to see people find happiness in everyday living, not outside of themselves, but from within. So that world peace.
Yeah.
And for myself, I didn't give that a lot of thought, but ultimately I would like to know bliss and happiness more in every day, because everything else stems from that. So the more joy we have within, the happier our lives are, and it doesn't matter what's going on around us because we already feel that within, and that's what I want for me.
That's wonderful. So, Jessica, thank you very much for being here on the show. Thank you very much for your time and your being and everything what you bring into the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to partake in this experience today. It's been beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click on one of the videos below to continue your journey and tell others about this channel, and please subscribe.